Howdy, folks. Well, it has begun, and it has begun a lot faster than I anticipated, and I'm sure a lot faster than a lot of you anticipated. The purge inside the Republican Party and the GOP Civil War. I guess it was only a matter of time before Speaker John Boehner took his wrath out on certain fiscal conservatives in the House of Representatives, but I guess I just didn't imagine that it would happen before the new year. So, although, based on circumstantial evidence, I am inclined to believe that Obama might have been behind the moves to get all of these fiscal conservatives, such as Justin Amash of Michigan and Walter B. Jones of North Carolina, off their finance and budget committees in the House of Representatives. And the reason for that being is that Obama put forward such a radical plan to try and avoid the fiscal cliff, and Boehner coming out and stating quite frankly that they would not punt this down the road any further. They were going to get a deal done this time. So I think Obama, probably hearing that from Boehner, went to Boehner and said, okay, if you want to do that, then you're going to have to get rid of these guys who I think there are going to be problems for us in our negotiations. And Boehner complied. So, no evidence to support this claim, but based on the circumstantial evidence, that's what I believe happened. But it also gave the GOP establishment leaders just the perfect excuse in the world to begin the purge that I believe they were already planning to make once Mitt Romney won the election. Of course, we all know that didn't happen, but now they're moving forward with their plans because they want no part of the Liberty Movement, they want no part of the Tea Party, and they've had enough of the social conservatives. So they're going to be purging these three elements from their party very, very soon, and I believe that this move, where they remove these Tea Party and Liberty Movement representatives from their committees, is the first shot in the GOP Civil War. Interesting to note, I just listened to a clip of radio host Jerry Doyle speaking with Fox 19 news anchor and host of Reality Check, Ben Swann, and they discussed this very issue, and Ben Swann came out and said that he believed that the GOP Civil War would deteriorate to the point where in 2014 it would be Tea Party versus Republican, not Tea Party versus Democrat. It would be Tea Party versus Republican, that this was going to lead to a very nasty fight in the 2014 elections. And based on what I'm seeing, what the response the establishment has made to these purgings is, and how the Liberty Movement and the Tea Party have responded, it is my belief that Mr. Swann is right, that this is going to deteriorate down the road. Also, let's look at what's happening in Virginia, where Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, an ally of the Liberty Movement and the Tea Party, recently arranged things so that he will most likely go into the GOP convention in Virginia and win the nomination for governor in Virginia. Based on what we're seeing there, Cuccinelli will win, but the establishment has made it very clear that they will not support Cuccinelli. So that means we need to rally behind him with all of our might, because Cuccinelli is a true friend of the Liberty Movement and he is a true constitutionalist. He will be a credit to the state of Virginia. We need to start looking at the future and what we're going to do about this, because it is clear that the GOP is starting their purge by getting rid of the top level members, and they're going to make their way down the list slowly until they reach the grassroots. I've had a lot of people coming up and telling me that we need to continue taking over the GOP grassroots because we are winning that fight. And I say, I agree with you. We need to continue that fight because that is what needs to happen. That is one of the most essential parts of any movement, is taking over the grassroots. However, we also need to face the reality that the GOP, the national GOP, will probably not stand for this much longer, and there will be a chance that they will purge us from their voting rolls. And I believe that the step they made in purging Amash, Jones, and the others from the committees was just the first step towards this ultimate end. Also, the rules passed at the RNC back in August make that very clear as well, that this is a step that they're going to take down the road. Will it happen 2013, 2014, or 2016? I don't know, but it's a pretty safe bet to say that it's going to happen very soon. It will certainly happen by 2016. So with that in mind, what do we do if the national GOP disenfranchises us? How do we move forward as a movement, and how do we form our new party? Well, there was an article that was recently released by a certain gentleman down in Texas, where he proposed that we form a new party called the National Independent Party. Now, while I feel that his plan needs to be tweaked here and there, I think that he has a very good idea in terms of forming a national structure that can take in the grassroots of the GOP when those grassroots become disenfranchised. And so I think we should be looking towards this gentleman and whoever he brings on board with him to try and make this a reality so that we have a structure that we can go into and so continue as a movement if the national GOP carries out their threat. Let's continue taking over the grassroots of the GOP and so take out the legs from underneath the establishment GOP. And if that happens, then we can create a transfer, kind of like what the Republicans did with the Whigs back in the 1850s, where the grassroots of the Whigs departed en masse for the Republican Party, or at least the grassroots of the northern Whigs departed for the Republican Party. We need to do the same here. We need to have it so that the grassroots of the GOP, if they are disenfranchised, can swing over and can join this new party. And then we can present a truly principled candidate for 2016 who can start bringing our country back. That is a very important step that we have to take. We have to be prepared for that. I am not calling for us to bolt the GOP right now. We won't need to. They will purge us. We won't need to leave. They will purge us. And it's coming. It's coming very soon. Boehner has made that clear with this purge. I also want to commend those who went into Speaker John Boehner's office to protest this move that he made. And I want to say to all of you who went, great job. Know that you have our support, you have our prayers, and we're going to help you in whatever way we can from wherever we are across the nation. Keep up your work, and let's continue this fight for freedom because America needs us now more than ever.